Hello, everyone. On behalf of the Embassy of Switzerland in the United States, I want to welcome you to our January edition of the Swiss Film Club. We're back in 2021 with more excellent Swiss productions. Thank you for joining us and for showing interest in this film and all the films we've shown over the last year. My name is Emily Buss. I work in the public diplomacy section at the Embassy. And the film club was started during this time when we can't gather together in cinemas to create moments of shared viewership and to continue introducing American audiences to excellent Swiss films like this one we've watched this month, and also to support film artists working in Switzerland in sharing their work with a broader audience. This month's film, My Little Sister, tells a beautiful and touching story about a sister and brother, Lisa and Sven, and their relationship after Sven is diagnosed with cancer. I am delighted to be joined today by the film's two directors, Stéphanie Chaut and Véronique Raymond. And I want to give a brief introduction before we get into our discussion. So these two have known each other since childhood. They're both passionate about theater and are trained actresses, and created shows together as a stage duo as well, which was kind of their introduction to the world of cinema as they integrated video into their plays. And since then, they've written and directed multiple short and feature films, both fiction and documentary, including The Little Bedroom and Ladies, many of which have received awards and attention at international festivals. And they've also written and directed for television, so they have quite impressive resumes. And to wrap this up, My Little Sister, which is their second feature, has been screened at festivals around the world, and it was also chosen to represent Switzerland at the Oscars this year in 2021 in the international feature film category. So we should be finding out in the next month or so if it's made the short list, and we'll definitely keep our eyes out for that. And then in addition, recently it was nominated for 6 Swiss Film Awards, including Best Fiction Film, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and others. So as you can see, it's been very critically acclaimed, and we're so glad you are sharing it with us. We look forward to hearing from you as well. So if you have questions, please enter them below by clicking Ask a Question if you're watching on Crowdcast, or if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to comment with your question there as well. And we'll try to get to as many as we can. So Véronique and Stéphanie, thank you so much for joining us from Switzerland today, and looking forward to hearing your insights. So let's get started. My first question, starting at the beginning, you both wrote and directed this film. And I'm wondering what the inspiration was for this story, for turning it into the film you did, and how long did it take to come together?
Yes, this movie has several origins. One of them is our mother tongue is French, but we like to explore with Véronique, because we are a duo. We think, oh, why don't we do a TV series taking place in a library? And we did it. Véronique had never seen a series, and we jumped into the world of series. For this movie, we thought, why don't we work with non-French speaking actors? And it was a challenge for us, but we really like UK, US, or German actors. They have a physicality, a way to embody the parts that we really find a very strong, especially theater actors. In Germany, you have the Chaut, this theater that you see in the movie, and the actors there are very complete. They are really very polyvalent. And we had, this was an idea. And then we saw Nina Hoss in Christian Petzold's movie Barbara. And since we discovered her in 2012, we really wanted we thought, oh my God, it would be amazing to make a movie, to write a movie for her. So with this idea of non-French speaking was then meeting the idea to explore the Swiss boarding schools, because it's a little milieu in Switzerland. There are many expats, and we are fascinated by these expats who are in this world, and it's very difficult to go in the world. You cannot, it's really closed. It's a closed world. So we started to imagine Nina Hoss being there in these mountains, in this boarding school. And then maybe, Véronique, you can tell other aspects if you want.
What do you mean?
Or you can tell how we met her, or
of course, yes.
about ourselves in the movie. Or...
No, because then we wanted so much to have her in our movie that I was collecting pictures of her on my laptop. And one day we were in Berlin with Stéphanie. It was in during the Berlinale 2015, but we were not there for the Berlinale. We were there for writing our project. And by chance, we just, I would say, bump into Nina Haas in the shop in Berlin, and it was a shock for us. No, we didn't bump into her but we recognized her. She was there, and we felt like, oh my God, this is the actress we are dreaming of, and she's there. So we have to talk to her, and so we went to her, and we just told her, yes, hi, we are two Swiss film directors. We are writing a movie for you. Do you have time for a coffee? And she was a bit surprised, and then she said, maybe, yes, it's the Berlinale. I'm very busy, and we said, yeah, of course. We gave her our phone number, and we left. And then we thought she will never call back, but she did. And 2 days or 3 days later, we met her again officially in a coffee. And this little coffee lasted for 3 hours. And that was the beginning of an incredible adventure. Because from this idea of having her in the boarding schools in Switzerland, we discovered that we had so many common references connected to theater and our root of theater. We are actresses first, and we love theater. And she was member of the Chaut. She knew Thomas Ostermeier, Lars Eidinger, and we also knew these two actor-director. And it was like, everything was like taking place while talking with Nina, and we thought, oh, we have to put her in a theater family, to give her a theater milieu, to confront this theater milieu to our Swiss mountains and our Swiss boarding schools, and to have these completely different topics confronting each other in the same movie. And she happened to know very well Lars Eidinger. And we thought they have to be twins. We need him. We want this twin relationship to be explored there. So that's how we all came together. And then there was a very, very long writing process.
It's amazing. And as you say, she's so mesmerizing in the film. It's so much of it just takes place, looking at her face, and you see the emotions play out there. I have a quick question about, you mentioned working with German-speaking actors. What was the language that you primarily used on the set?
With the actors, we speak English, but in the movie you have children, and the children spoke only German. So we did our best efforts to speak German. We speak German, but the German, personally, I learned at school, but then I really improved a lot in German, because we wrote the script in French, then it was translated in German, but then we reworked the German translation ourselves, also going to dictionaries, like infusing the language really, and to make it our. It's not just translation we do. We really need to feel every word that is in the script in German.
Wow, that sounds like a much larger project, as you mentioned. Véronique, you talked about the importance of exploring the sibling bond and the center on a brother and sister. What, to either of you, what made you really want to dive more deeply into that specific kind of relationship?
Actually, this twin relationship is the core of the movie. We were talking about how we went into this script, and we didn't talk so much about the twin relationship, but actually it's really the core of the movie, and it's inspired by our relationship from Stéphanie and I, because we know each other since we were 10 years old, and we shared this common passion for theater, and also we were not so self-confident, and we really, for being together and loving the artistic field so much, both of us, we gave each other the strength to dare trying to be artists. And this is something so special, and maybe that's why it's so, we are so grateful for this relationship, and lasting relationship, because it gave us so much strength. And we were teenagers, when we were like 14 years old and passionate for theater, and we are not coming from artistic backgrounds. We had kind of to fight with our families to convince them that what we do is what we have to do. And we wanted to explore this relationship that we share for so long, and sometimes without words. And if we are not siblings, we have now this relationship, I would say, a soulmate relationship. I don't know. We are BFF, best friend forever, this for sure. And we wanted to explore this, and that's why this movie is maybe the most personal we've ever written until now.
And that's beautiful, and I think it really shows. And the film is both heartbreaking at points, but it does feel hopeful at the same time, which as I was watching, sort of surprised by. And it seems to me almost like a lesson in how to prepare for grief. So I'm wondering how you worked to balance the tragedy of some of the material without leaving viewers feeling very, very hopeless at the end.
I think this could be a kind of signature of what Véronique and I do in the movies we do together, because I don't know if some of the audience have seen The Little Bedroom, but in The Little Bedroom there is also this hope throughout the movie. Or we did this documentary, Ladies, following 5 senior women who are alone and who have to confront to loneliness, the everyday life. But the movie is also filled with hope in the end, and it's maybe because we have this great gift maybe of having this ability to share what we live and to hope that life is maybe sometimes more than what you see or what you go through. And it's a motto for us, very important. And during the process of writing this movie, we both lost one parent, and it was very hard, and we were like really grieving and having kind of lost the meaning of what we do. Who cares about doing films? And little by little, through creativity, through our friendship, with Nina Hoss, reading what we would do, we found the way back, and really the strengths, the importance of creativity, giving hope and strength to go through life. And it doesn't have to be creativity. It has to be something you care for, that keeps you alive and debout, standing. It can be whatever. It's a passion.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I'd love to speak a bit more. You brought it up earlier about theater, and since you have theater backgrounds, and both Sven and Lisa have worked in the theater and are really driven by their connection to it. And I was particularly struck by the statement in the film to the effect that actors need to be needed, otherwise they'll die faster than from any disease. And so I am curious about the decision to place theater so prominently as part of this story. And is that something you've done in past films, in your past work, or is this really the first time?
It's really the first time we really put theater in a movie, and our producer told us, "Oh, why putting theater in a movie? It's always so difficult." And we said, "It's not going. We are not going to film a theater show. We are going to film the inner passion of an actor who can't be on stage anymore." And this is what we wanted to explore, because as actresses, we always had this kind of image that an actor is alive only on stage, and an actor wants to die on stage. This is a kind of a dream ending for actors, and it's strange, but still it's this feeling that when you are on stage you are more alive than in real life. And this is something that we shared with Michel Bouquet in The Little Bedroom. While we were shooting The Little Bedroom, he was suddenly I remember with Stéphanie on the stairs just before shooting a specific scene on stairs, I remember, and she just said, "It's so important to I spent much more time on stage in my life than in I would say real life." He was more on stage, really concretely more time on stage than in his hotel room or wherever he would be touring. And it meant so much for him to be an actor and existing as an actor, that we really wanted for once to write about this passion and this need for expressing yourself. That has nothing to do with me. Look at me, most important person in the world. It's really coming from inside, and a profound need to express yourself, because maybe you are made for that.
And I apologize, there's a bit of construction work. But I also want to talk about the role of music in the film. And I was particularly struck that it's used very sparingly. You know, we don't have a soundtrack throughout the whole film, but when it is used, you've chosen these very powerful and recognizable classical pieces. And I want to know how you selected those pieces and what is your process for integrating music into your films.
For us, it's very important that for us the construction work is to encourage you to drill down with questions. Let's drill down. So for us, the emotion has really to come from the actors and the acting. We don't want to emphasize what should the emotion be with music. So music is used in very special moments, transition moments sometimes, where the audience can just breathe because it can be very intense. So it's a moment, for example, after the hospital scene, where you can just breathe and decide also how you want to connect to what's happening. We don't want to force also people to, yeah, look how she's moved, look, go with that. We really like to respect, maybe because we are Swiss, but we like not to glue to the emotion, but to have this little distance which allows the people to really connect to also themselves. It's what we experience as an audience, what we like to. Or there are some moments like the emergency moment where you don't hear what people say because everyone knows what people will say in the ICU, you know, when you are in stress under these difficult moments. So we also decided not to go in the realism of that, but to have this more also like a bubble, and you can see, but we shot all the scenes with all the people talking, but we knew that we wanted to edit it that way, but still it's good to have all the material so you can play with it. So we had this, yeah, we like to that music has a real meaning in the film.
And did you choose it before, or did you know exactly which pieces you wanted to use, or did it come as you wrote the script and you shot it?
This was a whole process, really, and we knew while writing, it was already obvious that, as Stéphanie said, this emergency moment after the paragliding, we knew that that would be a musical moment, and we wanted very much to see the actors. That's why we had to write the dialogues, because we knew that we wanted to see them talk with one another, with each other, and having the doctor talking to them and all this, but we wouldn't listen to what they would say because everybody, as Stéphanie said, everybody knows what it's about. But this was already in the script. We didn't know exactly which music would be there because we had a composer that then came during the editing process to propose things. And also then all the classical music, one was already there during the writing process. It's the very first music, the Brahms music, the song Schwesterlein, Brüderlein, Schwesterlein, and this is also the title of the movie. And this came while writing the movie, but we really didn't know at that point where it would come, at what moment of the editing of the movie it would appear. And it was while editing the movie that suddenly it was obvious that it would be the very beginning and would kind of replace the title, because there's no title in the beginning, but you hear Schwesterlein and you understand it's the title. And for the other music, you can talk about it, Stéphanie, because it's it was while editing.
Yes, for the other musics, Véronique and I always have musics we like, that we share. And so I was browsing in my computer, for example, and suddenly I saw this music and we listened to it. And with Véronique, we thought, yeah, it's perfect for this moment. So it's music we live with. It's not, Schwesterlein was really for the movie, but the other ones, it's music that accompany us. And the last one also, the Bach, the chorale of Bach, we thought it was really good for the end because it's both peaceful, maybe a bit mourning, but you can really have it, feel it the way you want, but it's also a moment of maybe even meditation in the end of the movie. So it's
and lightness also.
Yes. And it's movies that are close to our hearts, and that then they find their place there.
Yeah, and I think I love the title sequence. That's very powerful.
There is this question connected to music.
Yes, please describe the process of having music composed and connected to create mood in the film. Do you usually have music composed, or do you select
It's always a mixture between composed music and music we choose, actually, and already composed music. It's a mixture, and it's very difficult for us to decide before the editing what we need. It's really through what we see, what we feel, through the scenes we are editing, that we suddenly feel like, here we need one moment, and it should sound this way. And this is why it's sometimes very difficult when you are budgeting your movie, financing your movie, because you have to choose already who is going to compose, who is going to do this and that. And sometimes you have a composer, and in the end there is not so much music composed only for the movie, because we have the feeling that already composed music fits better at this moment, for instance. But the composed music that we chose were very much to emphasize at some moments, I would say, the suspense, when there's the paragliding, to feel the suspense, to feel sometimes this or this in-between mood, between, I would say, entre ciel et terre, between heaven and earth, because there are some moments of transition, really, where you go from Germany to Switzerland, and you have those moments where you see the sky, the landscape, and you need these moments of, we say, tapis sonore in French, something.
And ambient music, atmosphere music.
Yeah, atmosphere music, but they are really giving you this kind of elevation from reality that helps a lot. And when we go back to Germany from Switzerland with this plane that lands, comment on dit, qui décolle, lands off.
Takes off.
Takes off. Thank you. My dictionary. I introduced you to my dictionary. And there is this moment also between the earth and heaven, and we need it at that very point again, this kind of music. And that's why through editing.
Just interestingly enough, we didn't choose the music, the composer proposed music for some specific moments, and we didn't choose a single of the music he composed for this specific moment at the place he thought. We put there other places. So this is very special, but
this is it's common in many movies. It happens.
Depends, yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's such an important part of the film, I felt. As I mentioned, this film is the Swiss selection for the Best International Feature at this year's Academy Awards. However, this is not the first of your films to be selected. Your film, The Little Bedroom, was as well. So I'm wondering if you could speak about the process, the selection process. Are you involved in that at all? And how does being submitted for an Oscar change the way your film is promoted and perceived?
About the selection process, we are not involved in the selection process. It's a commission. Swiss Films, the organism that handles Swiss films, is sorry, comments. All right. Okay. The Swiss Films gather 5 experts together, and they will. I was part of this commission, so you watch all the Swiss films that can apply, that are eligible, and then you have to choose the one that can fit also the criteria for the Academy Awards. I mean, meaning who is the audience, who is watching the movie. So you are not involved. Then you receive a phone call if you are chosen. And we are very, very happy that our movie was selected this year, because well, it's a really topsy-turvy year. Nothing is as usual, which is also quite exciting, because all the rules change also, you know, with all being online. And it's great because our movie has a US distributor, Film Movement. So it's released since January 15 in US and in Canada. So the fact to be the Swiss contender gives it more visibility. Already this is a great point for the US audience, because it makes another light on it. And it's really a great asset.
And actually, talking of a topsy-turvy year, we have a question. I'm sorry, about the about how COVID has affected the film industry this year.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the COVID situation is very difficult for us. To be completely personal and talking about my little sister, it was premiered in a competition at the Berlinale de 2020, and that was amazing because we had the great chance to be in a hall with 1,600 people, and we could hug and we could experience this collective emotion moment and this collective experience that was so important to I can't help myself reading the notes, but yeah, and this was amazing. But we didn't know at that point that it would be more or less the last time we could show this movie in front of so many people, and that was very hard then to be shut down and no release of the movie. It has to be postponed to September, and then we just between the two waves we could make a short release of the movie in Switzerland. And then it was supposed to be in Germany, but we only had 4 days in Germany, and then it was also shut down for the second wave. And yeah, it's difficult for us. But still, as Stéphanie said, we are lucky, we are very grateful that our movie has been is the Swiss submission for the Oscars contender, because we have the opportunity now to talk to you, to be here, and to talk to people about our movie, to share it with many people, even if online we are here and we are making this campaign with, I would say, all our energy, because it's the only way we can make things for now, and this is maybe the way we have to transmit our passion. So it's going to be online this year, but still the passion is full and there.
It's 2021 and we still see not enough women in the film industry, especially behind the camera. So what, in your experience, do you think should be done to promote equity and diversity? And what makes you hopeful for the future of women in film?
Yes, so the question is about women and equity, because I don't know if people heard the question. Yes, but actually in Switzerland, since some years, they have established quotas. So it means when people are funding money, the commissions, they need to have equal number of men and women, receiving money to make their work. So there are more films made by women. So it's a great thing in a sense, because women can do their movies. And in another one, we look forward the day where our movies will be judged just because of the project, and not because of because we are women or because of the color of your skin, just because we are all equal. So it's a bit idealistic, I guess, but it's what we look for, because people should ask also that to men, how do you, yeah, it's in the end, it's a bit difficult, because you feel that you are less than men because you are women, so you need to be in a quota to exist, basically. It's changing, of course, but it's long.
What are you working on now, and what will we see next from you?
Now we are working on a TV series. On a series, we don't say TV anymore. On a series, we are writing a series for Swiss TV, and the title is Toxic, and it's a huge contamination of Geneva Lake, the Lac Léman, we say, and mysterious contamination of the waters of Lemon Lake, and the whole population of Lausanne is completely, I would say, frozen by this mysterious contamination, and they are all affected by it, and everybody is dealing with this mysterious virus. And I have to say that we began writing this in 2016. It was way before our COVID situation, and it was kind of difficult to write this right now during the shutdown, because it felt so real it even felt less real than reality. So we had to kind of just decide, okay, let's do this, and let's focus a lot on what it does to us people, I would say in a profound way, when we have to deal with emergency, with a situation we are not used to, even before all, when you live in a country where you should have everything, and water is something basic in Switzerland. So it's how it shakes us in our families and our relationships with the world and with each other.
Thank you so much to you, Stéphanie and Véronique, for taking the time to answer our questions and for sharing your film with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, and thanks you for all your questions.
Yeah, thanks for being here in my living room. Ciao.
On behalf of the Embassy of Switzerland in the United States, thank you to you all for viewing this film, for your interest in the film club. We will be sharing more information about next month's film club, and films will be showing throughout the year. So please stay tuned to the Embassy's social media channels at Swiss Embassy USA and our newsletters for more information. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Thank you.